Well, a couple of interesting bits of news, I guess. They're spraying again very shortly. I just had one fly right over the top of me. It wasn't spraying. It looks like it's probably going home. But there's been two of them operating in our area from about 8 o'clock this morning. And it's the second time they've done the military base over the road. The property back down around behind us, Sharp Park, has been done. Well, I'm assuming it's Sharp Park from where I'm viewing it. It sort of pains me. I got to thinking about this because I've taken a little bit of video of what they were doing. And look, I know the pilots and the owners of the companies just going to say, we're just doing our job. And I know they're just doing their job. But how do you feel knowing that if you crashed your helicopter, outside your family and immediate friends and maybe your work colleagues, nobody's going to care? You hear a fire ant helicopter crashed today while it was low level bombing somebody's house. You know, so sad. I'm sorry, it's an awful thing, but nobody's really going to care. And the question is why? Well, because you don't seem to care for us. You are the last break possible. You are the tip of the spear. You are the one that hits the button that ejects the poison onto us. If you knew what you were dropping on people and the damage it was causing to our environment, to our native species, least of all the bloody fire ants, because the area you're dropping them on doesn't even have them in there. Nobody's found them yet. But you'll kill everything else in the area because it's your job. And that's why nobody outside of your immediate friends and family, and maybe a few work colleagues, is going to care if you have a low-level engine failure and wound up parking in a gum tree. Maybe the Civil Aviation Authority might take a closer look at some of the things that you guys do low-level. I know you've got low-level training and endorsements and all that sort of shit. But it must feel pretty awful to be flying over people, spraying them when you know that you are going against everything they want. Oh, it's my job. Yeah, I remember a whole bunch of Germans used to stay out the front of ovens a lot. That was the excuse they used too. I was just doing my job. Didn't really work. So if you happen to know one of these pilots, and I'm sure, you know, piloting, particularly helicopter, pretty sexy stuff. Great job, you know. Very sexy job. I wonder if you go home and say, yeah, I'm the guy that sprays everybody with a fire ant poison. Do you brag about what you do? Are you proud of what you do? It's pathetic. And it's sad that humans will dumb themselves down for greed, for their job. Speaking of that, U-Turd have taken off last night's Friday Night Free-for-All. You won't be able to find it on the Nun 2K channel. It is still available on the Voice of Freedom channel, however, and of course go to Rumble, search for Voice of Freedom there, you'll find it there too. It's also on Project Matilda. U-Turd have breached it on a community guideline. I don't know what we touched on last night they'd possibly breached me on, but you know, nobody really expects U-Turd to do any good. So if you are missing last night's show, I know there was somebody who said it got taken down last night, almost as soon as the show had finished. It is still available, to my knowledge, on Voice of Freedom on YouTube, Project Matilda, and Rumble. So go across and head over for that. I was going to show you these pricks flying overhead, but it looks like they've gone the other way, so won't be able to share it. But I don't know. Am I going a bit hard? I really feel quite strongly that the people at the tip of the spear doing the poisoning have some responsibility to this, not, oh, I'm just doing my job. Nobody cares if you crash. That must be a horrible thing. The wider community couldn't give, and in fact would mildly, quietly celebrate, I think, certain elements of it. And that's not celebrating your death. That's just celebrating the fact that something, because you're not human anymore, you've been jabbed. Otherwise you wouldn't have that job. Something happened to somebody who used to be a human and lost their humanity. Thought it was okay to spray people with poison. So sad. Oh, bad. Bad luck. Must be a hell of a way to live your life, eh? Sad.